Let's do it.
Okay.
We're good.
Okay, so I'm Lisa Evans, and this year I am teaching a 3rd grade homeroom. So I teach 3rd grade literacy, reading and writing, and then I teach Mr. Freeze, his 4th grade group, literacy as well.
Okay, you guys, I joined on a different computer, so you can hear me now.
It's working. Yay. Can we ask all the parents to just hit mute so we don't have any background noise, please? Go, Felicia, since you got it working.
Okay, well, I'm Miss Mignola, and I teach reading and writing to UCLA and Point Loma Nazarene College. That's Mrs. Maltz's class.
So I'm Mr. Freese, and I teach math to both the 3rd and 4th grade group. I teach it to Point Loma, Cal Poly, and UCLA. And I'm looking forward to working with your kids. Your kids have done outstanding the last 8 days of school. They're really excited about math and making great progress. So we look forward to a great school year.
And I'm Miss Maltz, and I teach all science, 3rd and 4th grade science. So every homeroom comes to me at some point during the day.
Right. Who's controlling the slides? Thank you. Okay. So this is super important. You guys have been notified from our office. And so we're including this in the slides again, so that you guys will have the link. We're going to email out the link with the video as well, the recording tomorrow. So make sure that this form is filled out for each student. It's really, really important. And you need to do it ASAP because we were supposed to have it earlier this week. So if you haven't done so, please go ahead and do that.
Our school funding depends on it. So if you don't do it, we don't get as much money for our school. So please do it.
It's very important. All right. And so in order to access it, you need to access the parent portal, which is where you get your students' report cards. You used it last year and you have that password that was given to you a while back. So if you need support with that, you can go through these links and get help if you need it. Sherry, you want to do this one?
Sure. So one of the themes that all of us constantly talk about in 3rd and 4th grade is having a growth mindset. So we are teaching the kids to look at the world in a positive light and know that challenges are part of life and we can get through them. And it's good to have a challenge. Not everything in life is going to be easy. We don't give up. We persevere through things. And we can always change our mindset. So some of these things that you'll see on the left are things we wouldn't like to hear. Instead of saying something like, I'm not good at this yet, but I can get there, I'm gonna learn. Instead of saying I'm great at this, which this is kind of counterintuitive, you know? We always want our kids to think they're great at something, but we really want kids to understand that they're great at something because they worked hard to get great at that thing. So I practiced and I learned how to do something, and that's why I'm really good at it. It's just a way of looking at the world in a positive way, and knowing that we can change, we can grow, we can learn, and it's not always going to be easy, and that's okay. Okay, next slide. You want me to keep going or someone else want to do this one?
I'll take this one. That's fine.
Okay.
So the way we evaluate our students for all academic areas is through a process of meeting the standards or exceeding the standards, which would be 4, meeting the standards, which would be 3, and then approaching standards is getting close to grade level, and then 1, the red, is the beginning level. Most of our students get very close or meet or exceed. So that's really great, and we have excellent teachers. We don't have grades in elementary school, so really it's about progress, and the progress reports or report cards reflect that. So this is what you will see on your progress report throughout the year, the 3 quarters.
Can I add to that, Mr. Freese?
Yeah. Yes, go ahead, of course.
This is also how we'll grade your students' assessments during class. This is how we'll grade their work. We want them to get used to seeing it. Okay. And so it's just a different, you guys have probably seen this in the past. This is probably how they graded in 3rd grade. And so please don't worry if your child is at a 2 on something. We're looking for progress. We want to grow so that we can get to a 3. And the way I like to look at a 4 is if you want a 4, you've got to do more. And so if the directions tell you to do something and you do the directions and you've completed your work and it's grade level, you're going to get a 3. But if you want a 4, you've got to do more. You've got to take it to the next level. Okay.
Yeah, it kind of goes along with that growth mindset. Like I can do better. Like if I'm always happy with 3s, well, then you won't get a 4. So like that challenge growth mindset is a really nice way to look at the progress report too.
Excellent.
Felicia, you want to do it?
Sure thing. Well, they're for literacy and reading and writing. It's 2 hours daily. We do 1 hour of readers workshop and 1 hour of writers workshop. Then during independent reading time, they get to choose their book from the classroom library or through Destiny or Epic. We will be having book orders coming soon. They do have a reading log due at the end of every month. It is on Schoology, so they'll do that on their Schoology account. The reading program that we're using is a mixture of fiction and nonfiction. We use Benchmark Universe, Lucy Calkins, and whatever our students need to help them improve their reading, that's what we're going to do. We're going to use what they need. And we also integrate social studies through the reading. Writing, we do a mixture of narrative, informational, and opinion writing. And we also integrate writing with social studies as well. Did I hit it all?
Yeah. Awesome job.
Okay, so for science, we use a combination of lots of things. We use Project Lead the Way. We use Mystery Science. I'm a firm believer in reading articles because that's what scientists do. That's how they learn from one another. I like to get my articles from a website called Newsela or Newsela. I'm not even sure how you say it. Our science is going to be critical thinking. I'm going to take a step back in science and I'm going to let the kids solve their own problems and come up with their own questions to ask. I don't believe in spoon feeding science. There might be a time a kid asks a question that has gotten the entire class excited and we're going to go in that direction because that's what science is all about. We're going to do a lot of engineering that goes along with the Project Lead the Way, but I will supplement that with even more engineering because I learned something amazing from virtual learning last year. And I'm going to share with you that because I know everyone thinks virtual learning was horrible, but I did get a lot of really great ideas out of it. And one of them was I was getting much better engineering projects when I had the kids building them at home than I was when they built them in the classroom. Because in the classroom, I would put buckets on each table and they would have supplies and they would build something and all of them would kind of look the same because they all had the same materials. When they built at home, everything looked completely different because everyone had different stuff in their recycling bin, different things in their drawers, different old toys that you wanted them to get rid of and they didn't, so they used them for a project. So what I found was the projects that the kids made at home were like 100 times better than the projects that they would have made if they were in the classroom. So I'm going to kind of use that a little bit this year. And I might have kids building things at home and either bringing them in or recording videos about what they built at home. Engineering projects, they will always have at least a week to do. I'll never like throw it at them and say, this is due tomorrow. And I will always make sure that you have a weekend in there so that you have time. Okay. I'm never going to throw something at you that's due right away. If your child all of a sudden says, I have a project for science due tomorrow, then they're just telling you about it right then and there, because I promise they've known about it for at least a week. Okay. So that's something I want to try and incorporate. And maybe I won't even have them build at home. Maybe I'll let them bring their supplies from home. I'll say, here's what you guys are going to build. Go through your house, bring in what you'd like to build in the classroom. But I'm kind of going to use a little bit of both this year because it worked so well last year. We're going to do a lot of coding, and we're going to do what I call, a lot of people have heard of STEAM, but I call it STREAM. Science, technology, research, engineering, art, and math, because you can't learn anything in science without research. So I like to add that one in there. And that's what our 3rd and 4th grade science this year is going to look like.
Okay, so for math this school year, I'm teaching the 3rd and 4th grade classes, and we have an hour a day of math instruction. Independent work assigned, it may be daily, and we do work all the time. Doesn't mean that's going to be due necessarily that day or evaluated that day, but it's usually completed in class at school for this school year. Last year it was all on independent work after school or during class also. Independent work will consist of Google Slides, digital math work, and the Envision book, consumable workbook. ST Math, the expectation is that the students complete 85 puzzles per week. And this is the primary homework assignment. So we typically do not do ST Math in class. That's kind of an introductory, like I'll teach them, okay, this is how we log in, or this is how, just in case students forgot, or this is how we bookmark or put it on Schoology where to find it. So in the beginning, we may have done 1 or 2 sessions or 20 minutes here or there, but mainly it's for homework. And it's a really great interactive program that helps your students think conceptually about the mathematics. Please see Schoology for it's actually, even though we don't have grades in our elementary school, the Schoology grades is labeled that way. So if you want to see some assignments that have been posted or evaluated, you want to see the Schoology page that your child has, and it will help you find the progress that they're making. If an assignment does not have a progress remark after a week, is over, or 2 weeks, it's most likely because it was not submitted for evaluation. Okay, here's an example of a digital Schoology assignment from our resources. So you can see a really great problem, even though it's multiple choice. Oftentimes you have to select more than one that's correct. It's based on the standards of the lessons. And this is place value. We've been studying a lot of place value the first few weeks. And then the second problem, same thing. So it's kind of, even though it's multiple choice, that makes them think. And then we can expand this too, to get into more depth. We can have a lot of conversations. The kids would actually be able to check the answers on the digital slide. Here's a great example of a word problem where they would do input. They would literally type sentences, maybe even a paragraph discussing what's happened. And then what's really cool is they can actually take a picture from their journal, if they did it in their journal, and insert it on the slide to show more interactive work using pencil paper, which is very important in math also. Okay, so that's the math program. I think we're going to be doing great this year. We've off to a great start, and we're really excited about the learning.
I just want to address something real quick. I know we've had so many confused parents with the email situation, because I've gotten a handful of emails, and I know some of the other teachers. And so I think what's happening is on our end, on Schoology, when we go to send a message, we click our homeroom when we want it to go to our homeroom, but it's going to everybody. And that's confusing all of you guys. And so here's kind of what we're thinking. If we need to send a message just to our homeroom, it will be through email, not through Schoology. And like I did last night when I wanted to remind you guys to remind your students to bring a leaf to class today, since that was a message for all science students, I sent it through Schoology knowing it would go to all of you. Okay, so I know it's been confusing. We've had a lot of parents going, but I got this email, but my kid's not in your homeroom. And we've tried to mess around with it and see how we can figure it out. And what we've figured out is we will use Schoology for emails that need to go to everybody. Specific homeroom emails will go through regular email. Okay.
And so if you could send us your most recent email, the one that you want us to use, that would be great. You could send it through Schoology to me, and then I'll put that one in, because I know sometimes, you've changed your emails or you use one more than the other. If you could just do that, that'd be awesome.
And as for my homeroom class, if you have not received an email from me, that means I don't have your correct email, because I've sent out probably 2 or 3 already to my homeroom specifically. Email me if you did not get an email from me, because that means I don't have the correct address for you. And that probably goes for the other teachers as well, right, guys?
Yeah, I've done the same.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. The chat is really quiet today. I'm shocked. Usually we've got parents asking a million questions, and maybe you don't know what your questions are yet, and that's okay. You know where to find us. Maybe we answered your questions. If you do have questions that pertain to anything that we talked about tonight, go ahead and put them in the chat. We're happy to answer them. And let us know if you need anything. The 4 of us are thick as thieves. We are a tight team. We communicate all the time. So please know that if your child is in one class and you email that teacher will automatically let the other teachers know, unless you specifically say, don't tell this teacher. We communicate all the time about all of your students. Okay. So we are a team here. Okay. You guys are part of that.
And one more thing, we do want to make sure you get the weekly newsletter. We kind of give you a summary of what's going to happen during that week. We send it out usually the day before school starts on the Monday. If it's a holiday, then it'll be on the Tuesday. And then, of course, check the Lions Den for important information and links for your child, so you can make sure that you're keeping up to date.
Okay, Mr. Freeze, there's a question in here about the Envision books and when they're going to get them. Do you want to address that?
Yes, unfortunately, due to COVID and shipping, there's just been problems with the order. Apparently, we might get lucky and get it soon, tomorrow, possibly. That's our next day for when Jonas Salk gets shipments in. I don't know the answer to it. I hope we get them, and then we'll use those also for supplemental work. But right now we don't have them. But fortunately, I got so much experience with digital work last year that I actually am using the Envision book now. The kids just don't have the physical one, because we've been doing work. I make the digital slide directly from the e-text. So we're using the resources the best we can, but I believe if we're lucky tomorrow or very soon, every Friday we get a shipment. So I talked to the custodial and he says there's a good chance it may come in tomorrow, because that's our shipment day. And I got a message from our principal, Miss Hartson, asking me when they're coming in, and maybe they've shipped them. So we will find out soon. And then we will keep the books at home. At school. We don't typically take them home unless the child requests that to do additional work.
Thank you, Mr. Freeze. Library day, I believe our library is only open on Wednesday. I'm not sure that we're going to have a designated library day, but the librarian is there on Wednesdays. If you did not get an email from your teacher, please email them directly, okay? Because we can't see who's who on here. So email your homeroom teacher directly, or Schoology message them and let them know exactly what email you want added to the list. Oh, Mary, I love that question. She wants to know if we have a team wish list or need any supplies. We're going to get that out very soon. Stay tuned, okay? And it's probably going to include a lot of wipes. Lots of wipes, but we'll get that out. Thank you so much. What else do we have here? COVID testing, what day and what time? Ms. Hartson, would you like to address that? I believe it's Fridays, is that correct?
Yes, it's Fridays. If the parents have opted in and given consent, then it would be Friday. And then we also, Mira Mesa High School also has testing on Mondays.
Excellent. And there's a literacy question here. How much reading every night? And does the nightly reading go on the daily reading log, or is the log only for reading in class?
The reading log, it's for both in class and at home. And 30 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes at night would be great.
And if you'd like us to tell you more, we can tell you more if that's what you want your kids doing more.
Mhm.
Let us know. We'll tell you
3 hours.
3 hours.
I was going to say that we are totally fine with the kids bringing books home as long as they return them. I know a lot of the students in my class have already been bringing them back and forth. Another thing we did in our literacy classes is we created a reading and a writing goal for the month of September. We're going to start doing that every month. So some of your students might have come home and said, well, my goal is to increase my reading at home or read X amount of pages this month. So I told them to take the initiative and create a home reading log to keep track of their pages. So they were all excited. They were designing them online or making them on paper. So if some of your students came home and did that, that's what that's about. But you can check in with them and say, hey, what's your reading goal or what's your writing goal for this month? Because they were excited. And they came up with an action plan of what they're going to do to achieve that goal. And it says, is it 30 during the day and 30 at night? So we try to read every day in class, independent reading time. We don't get to it every day necessarily for 30 minutes. It kind of just depends on, what the day's lesson is. We try to do it, but in my couple of classes, I've been kind of easing them into it. So I've been saying, we'll read, if you want to read at home during September, you can try. And then starting October, the reading log will be for home reading. So that's kind of where we're at with that.
Awesome. Sarah asks a really good COVID question. She says, I understand the kids have a stable group in class. Does the school do the same during lunch breaks? And do they stay together until dismissal? Yes. Kids are not allowed to rotate and visit other friends at lunch. We are trying to keep our groups completely stable with homeroom. So your kids are only socializing with homeroom and that's it. Okay. So great question. We're trying to be really good about that.
There was a music question, and the 5th grade group is getting music this school year, and 4th grade has not started any program at this time. So if it does start, we will notify you, but this time we're not having 4th grade music.
Yeah, the likelihood of us having music will depend on our fundraising through PTA. It's going to have to be something that we fund ourselves.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Hartson. Anybody else have a question? Mary, are you typing? Yes, you are. Oh, yes. Mary really wants music. So Jogathon is next month, you guys. That's our biggest fundraiser of the year. So Jogathon. Thank you, Mary. Mary, you PTA? Are you in the PTA? Maybe you should be.
And don't forget to turn in your PTA to join the PTA.
There was information sent home 2 days ago that came with an envelope. It also had what I was going to say, the Jogathon t-shirt contest.
Yeah, that's great.
And that is due tomorrow because it has to be turned in ASAP to get it printed in time for the Jogathon, which is October 15th. So I've already received a few. I put them in the PTA box. So PTA members, it's in the PTA box in the office. And I know there's a couple kids still working on it who are turning it in tomorrow. So if your child is so inclined to design our t-shirt, please have them work on it tonight and they can give it to us in the morning. Thanks.
Oh, Maria says they're extending the contest. So if your child still wants to participate in designing a t-shirt for the Jogathon, it looks like, yay, there's still time. Ms. Hartson, can you answer this? Are we allowing parent volunteers for Jogathon or we're not?
We are only allowing essential volunteers for Jogathon. And that would be the PTA who's helping and so on. Unfortunately, we have to be real careful about who comes on campus. Proof of TB, proof of COVID, vaccine or test results. And so at this time, the answer is just those who are deemed essential. If you think that you're essential for one reason or another, please reach out to Jessica and she can help me with determining that. Because there are some kids that need some help.
These are great questions, you guys. And thank you, Mary, for the compliment. You're awesome too. New Jonas Salk shirts because your kids are growing. Excellent. Miss Hartson? T-shirt sales?
Oh, I can actually answer that one.
Oh, excellent.
We're going to be sending home order forms probably next week. So just keep a lookout for those. We'll be giving them to the teachers to hand out.
Perfect.
We're styling with the PTA parents this year. Thank you guys.
Thank you. Any other burning questions before we all sign out?
You guys are all going to remember your questions the second we end the meeting, and then you're going to go, oh no. Feel free to email us when that happens.
So we'll send out the recording in case you want to watch us again tomorrow. And then we'll
Once
send,
isn't enough.
I mean, right? You can never get enough. And the link to the slide deck. So you guys have access to the links and the information that was given tonight. So thank you so much. We know how fun it is to come at night and listen to teachers talk. So we get it. So go have a nice evening and email us with any other questions you have. And we really appreciate your time. Thank you.